I write about how privacy and safety is becoming a luxury good in our current economy. And I really like this article in the Wall Street Journal that basically talks about how like billionaires or super rich people are spending hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, like locking up their homes to the extent that it's like they're preparing for some sort of like nuclear war that none of us know about. Like, I would read this article because it's pretty crazy. Like, they're building like bunkers and like moats and like biometric access, like underground complexes with like wine caves. I mean, it's like ridiculous. But this very much feeds into a theme that I talk about in my newsletter about like the status symbols of 2026. And I believe that privacy, the things you're able to opt out of, are going to be a huge part of how rich people spend. Because as I talk about in this newsletter, you can find the link in my bio, I talk about how a lot of like consumer tangible status symbols are easy to dupe or more accessible for the average person. So super, super wealthy people like billionaires are spending more and more time in spaces like that regular people cannot access, whether that be these like fortified compounds, whether that be gated communities, whether that be these like private islands. The same goes for like being chronically offline, like having true privacy. Like, a huge part of our current culture is making you feel like you don't have any time, making you feel like you have to perform and optimize and participate in the system. And so a true symbol of being able to opt out is having extreme amounts of wealth. I'm just including this because I think it's like kind of insane that people are spending $100,000 on like dogs to protect their homes. But I do think that each step kind of up the ladder is this like move towards a society that is more and more like isolated, more and more private, more and more controlled. I mean, we are in an environment of like intense wealth stratification. And then what happens when the wealth stratification is also physical, like geophysical separation? And I would argue it's like a net bad thing that we are separated or segregated by income. You know, when the people with like the most resources, the most power are like looking at the trajectory of this economy and fortifying against it, that is a bad thing. Like, if you are someone with extreme amounts of wealth and you are not using like public infrastructure, you're less likely to want to invest in it. And unfortunately, in this country, people with huge amounts of money and resources can help shape policy. Like, this in some ways is like a very literal sense or look at the K-shaped economy of how wealthy people are essentially building a parallel infrastructure, you know, whether that be parallel healthcare, parallel education, parallel security, that allows them to exist in a completely different reality than the rest of the country.